What's going on, guys? So the day is finally upon us. Actually, the last two videos I had, I got something on my shirt on one of them. They were recorded in the same day because I want to give myself time to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Now, if you haven't played it, please go play it now. Now, this is going to be slightly spoilery, but it's only in the first section, first chapter. So if you're okay with the first 10 hours of a almost 80-hour game being spoiled a little bit, we'll say probably 5 hours, and let's go ahead and talk about this. The majority of my playthrough so far has been mostly enjoying the world itself, the actual design of it. It actually looks really good. It's exactly how I would like it to look when I was, 5 years old. Another thing about it is the gameplay itself plays super smoothly. I love it. It doesn't feel as clunky as the first one. Now, I'm going to do a couple comparisons just to kind of make it make sense. So in the first one, in Remake, I had a bit of issues with like the blocking, the dodging. It just felt like it didn't hold up as good. Didn't take away from the whole game. That definitely still was a beautiful, well-made game. But that's where I think this one definitely, as you would see in a sequel, they did better. They worked on the mechanics that you had, made it better. So I have to say that's something that I thoroughly enjoy. Now, the open world looks amazing. There's nothing to take away from that. It's just that good. They added, which something I talked about in the demo, they added a little bit of a feature of, climbing mechanics, essentially. Not full on, Breath of the Wild levels of detail, but instead of having to walk all the way around a fence, you could just jump over it. And that little tidbit made this game a little bit more functional. Now, coming off the, tail end of like Final Fantasy 16 that came out, I have to say I did not like 16. I think I've said it a billion times. Even though I own the collector's edition, bought all the DLCs, I'm not saying I hate it. I just don't think it's as strong as like a lot of the previous ones. 15, for instance. I loved 15. I thought it was amazing. The free flow combat, everything about it just felt really good. And I liked all the weapons, the items. I liked the story a little bit more, even though it was a little convoluted. It felt better. 16, not so much. But 7 feels like 1,000 times better than both of them. Now you still have that kid. I forget his name right now because my mind is just drawing a blank. But essentially, there's a dude that Chadley, I don't know why I forgot him. Chadley is a dude that gives you like VR missions. He gives you specialty materia, and you got to go do all these, consent or census or whatever. You have to assess everybody. You have to fight them. You have to get data. You have to fight specialty enemies in this one. So it's kind of like bounties, essentially, if you played any other Final Fantasy. But these bounties, you would collect on them. You would get a little extra XP, some money, and some stuff. Another thing about items, now you can actually do something called transmutation or transmuting, all that. It's where you make specialty items, you upgrade them that way. Some of the leveling up system is a little bit different now, where you have the portfolio or the folio, as they call them. It's a little bit different than the other one, where the weapons had their level ups in the system, or each weapon had them, and you could only go so high. This one seems like it's just a little bit the same, but it also works more towards the synergy abilities, which, by the way, are awesome. I love them. The synergy is... it took me a while to catch on to how to use it, because I'm a bit of an idiot, and I probably didn't watch that tutorial. But the overall gameplay still plays super tight, smooth, and fast. Another thing that I think that really shows is, spoiler, by the way, how much you can see Cloud being a little odd. So, if you didn't play the demo, it takes place in Nibelheim, his hometown. He seems fishy, different, not acting the same as he does in majority of the game that you're playing as of right now. And the intro, by the way, I know I'm jumping all over the place, but the intro, which, thinking about Cloud and the fact he's acting fishy, is really odd. It's a story that I'm part of it that I haven't got to, so I don't know what's going on. But it's really intriguing because they start off right off the bat a full retcon. I wouldn't say retcon, more of a... I don't know what you would call it. Just, it's people that are out of time. Because in my opinion, this looks like, or I guess my theory, is it comes from, they're from 5 years ago, and they're here now. If you don't know what I'm talking about Zack and Cloud. Now, if you don't know what happened to them, you're going to see some of it in this game. You're going to probably figure it out in this game. I'm hoping they show you. If not, Crisis Core. Look it up. It's a fantastic story that predates Final Fantasy VII by... I think the 5 years. It actually explains the 5-year gap up to where he just comes in and starts helping out the Avalanche and all that. But it also shows a guy that pretty much is where you see he gets some of his style and some of his personality from, which is really cool. That's another thing about this game that's just so fantastic. that they're keeping the core values of that, which was the biggest twist in pretty much my gaming history. Now, if only we can get a Castlevania Symphony of the Night remake, I'd actually probably jerk off to that. Now, I want to get down to some nitpicks. These are my own personal problems, and why I will say I give it a 9.5. Leveling up is, it's too much. It honestly is. For me to get from level 15 to 25 took way longer than it should have, especially with other games that make it a lot easier, especially given now this is the second game, so you're not starting at 1. I get that. But I feel like in the time it took me to go from 1 to 50 in the first one, I should at least be at 30, 32 at the most. And I'm still at 25. I've completed both sections of the Grassland and the Junon, and I'm still 25. I should have at least been 30 or something, because the demo takes place there, you're 25. So it almost feels like it's restricting me, so I still have to have a bit of a challenge, basically. Don't get me wrong, I get challenges, but if I wanted to run through this, like I do Kingdom Hearts, I'll run through that as quick as I can at the lowest level I can, using everything to my advantage. In this one, I'm still getting down, the different items, materia, stuff that you don't have, more than likely, because it's in the original game, but it's not going to be in this one just yet. And the only thing I think that I would take away, this doesn't affect the actual score to me, but it's the fact that nothing carried over. Like, you have a full PS5 edition of it, so you can carry it over. I don't know why they didn't. Honestly, in my opinion, they should have carried over a lot more than what they did. They only had the completion, which was a few things, and I don't even actually use them. I think one of them, maybe the Chocobo materia, but overall, I didn't really see use in a lot of it. It seems like their carryovers are just kind of boring. But I know it sounds like I'm sounding really down about the game. I'm super excited. I just haven't gotten a lot of sleep. I have to say, a lot of the side missions make it super ADHD, like playground. So it definitely keeps me just jumping from thing to thing. A lot of the monster designs are a little bit cool. They're definitely reminiscent of the old ones, because the old ones, if you didn't know, always have palette swap. So it's like the same monster, but it's a lot stronger because it's not the yellow shorts and the tan skin. It's going to be the purple skin and like the bronze shorts or whatever. And they always have a different name. They're just super powerful versions. This one, they'll take the same one that's about this big, and then they'll make it about this big, and they'll change the color, give it a bit of a Dragon Ball Z aura around it and stuff, but it ends up being a lot stronger. It plays a little bit different, and it can be a lot meaner. But so far, I haven't had too much issue with the game. The only other problem I have right now, and it's not because it's bad, is the card game. I just don't like their card games. A lot of people do. That's cool. I know it's a good side mission. I'm not saying it's just horrible. This is actually one of the few that I've done good at. I have to say 8, I was terrible at their card game. I think 9 had one, which was similar. I was terrible at it. I'm just not good at their card games. And it's always kind of, it's always been based off the card next to it, this, that, and the other, and power levels and all this other stuff. It just seems super boring. I'd rather play Gwent. I'd have to actually restart a whole playthrough just to play Gwent. But being this is not a full review, it's only the first 3 or 4 chapters. First 2 regions. I don't want to do too much more to spoil it. And not to mention, I still got a lot to go. 20 hours in. I don't even think it's 20 hours. And the game's roughly 80 hours. I got a lot to play. And I'm really excited to get back into it. So that's about all I got to say. Y'all have a good one.